welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're sharing a collection of true stories, accounts that really remind you how thin the line can be between just normal life and something truly terrifying.
Yeah.
These are from real people talking about things they experienced, encounters that are hard to explain, deeply disturbing.
Absolutely.
And our goal here is to look into these stories, pull out those details that make them so unsettling, and maybe understand a bit more about intuition and that quiet sense of dread you can get.
And it's fascinating, isn't it, how these seemingly random events can leave such a lasting mark, forcing us to maybe pay more attention to those subtle cues we might usually ignore.
Exactly. So let's start with this first one. It's about a man named Rick. He was a high school friend of the narrator's parents.
Okay.
They described him as, a bit odd, knew he had a rough childhood, so people kind of explained away his quirks.
Right. The difficult past becomes a sort of reason for everything.
Yeah. And he'd visit often, even sometimes when the narrator's dad wasn't home, just visiting the mom and the narrator, who was a baby then.
That raises that question, doesn't it? How often do we look back and see red flags we dismissed as just quirks? Especially with people we think we know.
And hindsight makes it so clear, sometimes tragically so.
Mm.
The year Rick's group graduated high school, a young woman from the university nearby went missing.
Oh, no.
Her body was found about a month later. No killer ever identified.
And the case went cold.
Went cold. Then, years pass. The narrator is just a month old. Another female university student vanishes. Never found. That case is still open today.
2 unsolved cases.
And around the time of that second disappearance, people in their social circle started getting this weird feeling about Rick. Nothing concrete, just an unease, a gut feeling.
Mm.
And right around then, Rick asks the narrator's father if he can store a truck topper in their barn. The narrator's mother later said she felt so uneasy about it, she actually went out to the barn to look inside it, just in case.
Mm-hmm.
Found nothing, but that instinct was there.
That protective instinct, yeah.
So fast forward 18 months after the second woman disappeared. A third woman is abducted.
Oh my gosh.
She's taken, chained to a bed in a small town not far away. Then he drives her to a bridge, still chained, and throws her into the river.
Horrifying.
But incredibly, she manages to swim to shore. She survives, and she identifies her attacker.
Let me guess.
It was Rick. She identified him and the house.
Wow.
So police go to his place to arrest him, and as they approach, Rick shoots himself. Kills himself right there.
And the connection.
Here's the really chilling part. After his death, investigators looked into his work records. He had taken a week off work during the exact time the first woman went missing.
No.
And he'd taken another week off work during the exact time the second woman went missing.
So the gut feelings, they were right all along.
Completely right. Just tragically confirmed after the fact.
It really underscores that terrifying reality, doesn't it? That some people operate behind this almost perfect facade. And you only see the truth when something extreme happens. The suppressed intuition turned out to be spot on.
It's a heavy thought.
Oh.
Okay, our next story. This one comes from someone who was working as an online escort in Sacramento. Times are tough.
Right.
She sets up a meeting with a client. He sounded nice enough on the phone, but when he arrived, he was much younger than she expected.
Okay, a bit of a surprise there.
Yeah, and as he walked in, she got this sudden, overwhelming gut feeling. Told her she needed to pat him down for a gun.
Had she ever done that before?
Never. Not once in 4 years. But the feeling was so strong she actually did it. He just laughed it off.
But she listened to the feeling.
She did. The whole time they talked, though, the conversation kept looping back to his ex-girlfriend, how he'd hit her, how she left him because of it. He seemed really fixated.
Obsessed, almost.
Totally. She tried changing the subject, keeping it light, but he kept bringing it up. Then he says this really unsettling thing, kind of out of nowhere. I'd find out what he'd do soon enough.
Whoa. That's creepy.
Yeah, she tried to brush it off, like maybe it was just dark humor, but it stuck with her.
I bet.
Then, when he was leaving, he insisted she walked him to his car. It was literally steps from her door. Didn't make much sense.
Strange request?
Very. He points out his car, this unimpressive green Jeep, she called it. She said something casual, and then he looks at her and says, "You'd see it again."
Okay, that's deliberately ominous.
Right. He tells her to be careful, then leaves. She's just left feeling weirded out.
Understandably.
So a few days go by. She turns on the national news, and she sees it.
The Jeep.
The green Jeep.
Yeah.
And then his picture.
No. What happened?
A man had driven that Jeep cross-country, all the way to New Jersey. He walked into a church and murdered 2 people.
Oh, my God.
One of them was his ex-girlfriend, the one he couldn't stop talking about.
And they caught him.
Yeah, they caught him a few days later in Atlanta trying to board a plane to Europe. That line, you'd see it again, suddenly made horrifying sense. It was calculated.
That's absolutely chilling. It's that power of intuition again, isn't it? Her feeling, his almost deliberate foreshadowing. It's like he was leaking these signals, testing her. It really highlights those subtle, often unseen warnings people can give off.
That feeling that something is deeply wrong. It just keeps coming up. This next one takes place in small-town Indiana back in the earlier mid-70s.
Okay.
The narrator's dad was in middle school then, walked home most days. He started noticing this guy in a van, driving really slowly past him, again and again.
He's just watching him.
Yeah. Then the guy, whose name was Roger, started yelling things out the window, usually trying to sell him drugs.
This is a kid walking home from school.
Exactly. Roger was older, maybe 9 years older, known vaguely through relatives, but this was terrifying for the dad. Roger would literally follow him, block after block, just driving slowly behind him.
That's predatory behavior. Stalking.
Absolutely. Yeah. The dad felt this deep, persistent fear. Said he was so scared, he'd just stare at the ground the whole way home, wouldn't look up, wouldn't respond, just focused on getting inside his house.
God, those walks must have felt like an eternity.
Right. Eventually, thankfully, Roger just stopped. The encounters ended. Huge relief for the dad.
And that constant low-level threat, even without physical contact, what's the long-term psychological impact of feeling targeted like that? It eats away at your sense of safety.
For sure. So now we jump forward, Valentine's Day, 1977, different town, but still remote Indiana. A horrific home invasion takes place.
Okay, involving Roger.
Yeah. He and 3 other guys break into this home with shotguns, force a mother and her sons to lie face down on the floor.
Oh, this sounds bad.
It's brutal. They taunted them, threatened them for hours.
Yeah.
Then they started shooting them, methodically.
Oh, my God.
But here's a really awful, almost unbelievable detail. The mother was wearing a wig. One of the shotgun blasts hit it, partially blew it off. Roger saw it, thought her skull had exploded, assumed she was dead, and stopped shooting her.
She survived because of a wig.
She survived miraculously. She later described hearing her son's and stepson's blood draining. She said it sounded almost like a waterfall.
I have no words for that.
The motive. They only took about $40. She found out later the reason was the thrill of taking human lives.
Just pure evil.
Pure evil.
Yeah.
She identified Roger as the ringleader. They all got multiple life sentences. No death penalty in Indiana then.
Yeah.
Roger actually just died in prison recently.
And the narrator's dad had been stalked by the same guy years earlier.
Yeah. Just that proximity. Knowing you were targeted, even briefly, by someone capable of that kind of unimaginable violence. It's terrifying how close horror can be, even if you escape direct harm.
It really drives home that listen to your gut lesson, doesn't it? It shows how random these connections can be, how close we might unknowingly be to genuine evil. It's not paranoia, it's survival sometimes.
It really is. Okay, next story. This narrator was 19, managing a beauty supply store. One day this man comes in pushing a stroller. Little kid inside. He asks about super glue. Seems normal enough at first. Then he starts getting personal. Where are you from? Tells her he's from Vegas, staying at a campground nearby with his son and the son's mother. While he's talking, the little boy in the stroller looks up at her, smiles, and tells her his name. He was 3 years old.
Ah, sweet little kid.
Yeah. But then the guy starts getting creepy, asks her age, gives her his phone number, suggests they should hang out.
Uh-oh, boundary crossed.
Big time. She takes the number politely, but just throws it away as soon as he leaves, laughs it off with her coworkers. Just another weird customer.
Happens all the time in retail, unfortunately.
But it escalates. The very next day, he comes back and just stands outside staring in the window at her for like 5 solid minutes.
Okay, that's definitely not normal. That's intimidating.
Super creepy. Then, a few days later, he comes inside again. This time, no kid, but he's with a friend. And they're both making inappropriate comments, telling her she's too fine, like a model, really laying it on thick. He invites her and her boyfriend, acting like he doesn't believe she has one, to come hang out with him. At this point, she's had enough.
Good for her.
She just shuts him down. She says, look, I don't know you, so I don't think we'll ever be hanging out, no offense. He just laughs it off, and they finally leave.
So hopefully that's the end of it?
She thought so. A couple of weeks later, she sees him on the city bus with a woman. She figures, okay, maybe that's his new girlfriend or something. Feels relieved, like he's moved on.
Right.
Then about a month after that last encounter, she's out of town. She hears a snippet of a news story playing on TV. Something about a woman in her town who had left her 3-year-old son alone for 4 days, and the child had died.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, she actually turned the TV off. Didn't want to hear the details.
Yeah.
But then on Easter Sunday, she's talking to her mom. Her mom works at the local hospital. And her mom brings up that same tragic story. Because it happened locally, she knew some details. Said the mother and child were from Las Vegas. They'd been staying at campgrounds. And the child's father in jail for soliciting minors, the sex offender.
Wait a minute. Las Vegas campground.
Exactly. It all clicked for the narrator. She immediately looked up the full news story online, saw the pictures.
Don't tell me.
The man, the creep from her store, he was the father in the news story, the woman she saw him with on the bus. That was the mother who abandoned and killed her own son.
Then the little boy.
The little boy who smiled at her, told her his name. He was the child who died.
Oh, my God. That's devastating.
Utterly devastating. And the details that came out later. The mother found him dead, then apparently washed his body in the community showers at the campground before trying to take him to the hospital on the city bus. Police intercepted her before the bus even left.
That is just profoundly tragic. What's so unsettling there is how that completely normal, innocent interaction she had, the smile from the little boy, was unknowingly tangled up with such immense hidden suffering and horror. It just shows the hidden lives, the desperate situations existing right alongside us.
It really makes you wonder what's behind the surface of everyday encounters. Okay, this last story really highlights being prepared and vigilant. It happened to the narrator's best friend just a few months back.
Oh, yeah.
So the friend has this safety routine. After work, when she gets off the train, she calls the narrator, stays on the phone with her until she's safely inside her locked car.
Smart, like a buddy system.
Yeah, she got the idea from reading stories online, actually, like the Let's Not Meet subreddit.
Ah, okay. Good resource for cautionary tales.
Definitely. So one day, the friend calls, but is way earlier than her usual train arrival time. The narrator answers, a little confused. And her friend immediately says, totally out of the blue, "Mom, we need to buy some milk. I need it for the birthday cake."
Wait, Mom? And birthday cake.
Yeah. The narrator knew instantly something was very wrong. First, her friend never calls her mom. Second, the friend can't bake to save her life. And third, she's lactose intolerant. Milk. Cake. No way.
That's a code. She's signaling she's in trouble.
Exactly. A prearranged or maybe just improvised distress signal. The narrator gets it immediately, hangs up, grabs a couple of big, strong friends, beefcakes she called them, and they race down to the train station.
Good, quick thinking.
So they get there. The friend is still on the phone, keeping up the act, saying things like, "Okay, Mom, which platform are you on?" And, "Yeah, we need to set things up for the kids to play." Using the conversation to subtly guide the narrator and her friends to where she is on the platform.
Wow, staying calm under pressure.
Incredibly calm. The narrator and her friends spot her, walk up quickly, and basically help her power walk straight out of the station, away from whoever or whatever the threat was.
Did they see anyone suspicious?
They didn't get a clear look. They were focused on getting her out. The narrator drove her home, but took this really roundabout route, driving through the city for a while, making sure absolutely no one was following them.
Smart move.
So what happened on the train?
Once they were safe, the friend explained. On her train ride, she overheard these guys talking, a few seats away.
Okay.
They were describing her in exact, minute detail, the color of her nail polish, the specific train station she always gets off at, the type of car she drives, everything.
That is terrifyingly specific. They were targeting her.
Clearly. And here's the kicker. They were speaking German. Not quietly either.
German?
Yeah.
Cool.
But the friend, she grew up speaking 5 languages fluently. German was one of them. She understood every single word they said.
Oh my God, that's
No.
lucky it doesn't even cover it. That's incredible.
Right. So hearing them plan, whatever they were planning,
Yeah.
she made a split-second decision. As the train pulled into the station before her usual stop, just as the doors were about to close, she bolted off the train.
And that's when she called the narrator with the code.
That's exactly when. She got off one stop early to throw them off.
What do they think the guys were planning?
They could only guess. Human trafficking, some kind of planned assault, gang-related, who knows. But it was clearly premeditated and targeted. The friend didn't take the train again for 3 months after that.
I don't blame her one bit. That story perfectly illustrates the importance of having safety plans, trusting your gut, and thinking fast. Her language skills, her quick exit, the coded call it, all work together to avert something potentially horrific. It shows how being proactive, having those just-in-case plans, can literally save your life.
It really does. These stories, they definitely stick with you, don't they? They all seem to circle back to that need for intuition, recognizing hidden dangers, and just being aware, really aware of what's going on around you.
Absolutely. And it leaves us with a really important question to think about, I think. In a world where these kinds of chilling things can happen, how do we find that balance? How do we stay open and curious about the world, but also maintain that critical vigilance we need to protect ourselves?
That's a heavy question, and definitely one worth considering. Thank you all for tuning in to the deep dive and sharing this unsettling journey with us today.
Thanks for listening.
If you found these stories compelling and you appreciate deep dives into true crime and unsettling accounts, please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Horror Docs. We'll have more content like this coming your way. Until next time, please stay aware and stay safe out there.